I have to tell you something. I wanted a friend of mine to do this cruise. I really wanted. I said, the world's cruise is the best. I said, you'll enjoy it. And he said, yes, I want to do it. And then he saw the price, and so he's on a cruise. He's just on a different cruise, a real different cruise. In fact, he wrote me a letter, and I have to share this with you because I think if you're not having a good time, and I hope you are, it really puts things in the proper perspective. He says, "Dear Paul," he says, "thanks for your email. I'm glad to hear you're having such a great time on your ship." I was bragging a bit. He says, "Ours isn't going quite so well. I'm on board the Somalian Nightmare. We boarded our ship in Port Mogadishu in Somalia. The crew helped us stitch up the luggage and replace the stuff that was stolen at the airport. Our departure was delayed while tugs pulled us off the rocks. And as there's now a slight hole in the bow, we're cruising the world backwards. At the boat drill, one of the passengers dropped her life jacket. She dropped it overboard, and it sank. Does your ship have homeless people? Ours didn't when we started, but this casino is tough. The photographers are everywhere. I don't think they should burst into staterooms at 3 a.m., but they do sell a lot of pictures. Yesterday, they had a galley tour. Last night, nobody showed up for dinner. I also visited the bridge. I was the only one there. It was exciting. I've never steered a ship before. Our ship's not as classy as yours. Our one dance host is part of a witness protection program. We dropped anchor in Auckland. Not on purpose, it just dropped. The captain said he found a replacement. And today I noticed the piano's missing. By the way, does your captain always wear a life jacket? At Trivial Pursuit, first prize was a free cruise. The winner traded it in for a t-shirt. I'm worried about the crew. I asked our waiters where they were from, and they surrendered. I asked a bartender for something sweet and refreshing, and he leaped into my arms. Well, this vessel holds 15,000 people, and there are 15 seatings for dinner. They had to push the midnight buffet back to 4 a.m., and it doubles as a first seating for breakfast. Did I mention this ship is cheap? And the health club, when people get off the treadmills, the ship slows down. Well, I've got to go now. My stewardess asked if she could come in and tidy up. I said yes. And now she's taking a shower. Wish I was with you, your friend Mike Neun. Well, thank you. All right, if you're having a good time, I'll write and let him know and see if he writes back. Chances are he will. Earlier, I read a letter from a friend of mine. Do you remember that? His name was Mike Neun, and I read you a letter that he wrote to me, and I wrote him back and said that, people had a greater appreciation for Crystal Symphony after they heard that letter. And he wrote me back. Would you like to hear it? Yeah. I was hoping you would. Otherwise, it's pretty quiet up here. Dear Paul, I'm happy to hear you're still having such a great time on your cruise. Ours still isn't going quite so well. I'm still on board the Somalian Nightmare. We just left port and there were hundreds of happy people on the pier. They were laughing and cheering and waving goodbye. We found out later they were the crew. When I booked this cruise, they promised me a veranda. Next time, I'm going to make sure there's a stateroom attached to it. Our captain is Swedish, and he said his name is Jim Jönsson. And he said he just got out of Yale. It may take a moment. Our ship is docked in New York, and we just got back from our midnight walking tour of the Bronx. It was quite successful. Over half of us made it. Last night was French night in the dining room. To make it authentic, the waiters insulted us and refused to speak English. Our lobby has a waterfall. It It wasn't supposed to, it just happened. Plumbers are working on it now. This morning we got a distress call from some boat people. But when they saw our ship, they changed their minds. Last night, a couple of passengers got mugged by a gang of waiters. Apparently, the no tipping policy isn't working out. The hotel director's very excited. Today, he announced that the tattoo parlor on board now has spell check. The passengers aren't the brightest bunch either. One guy was standing in front of a diagram of the ship. On the diagram, there was a red dot that said, "You are here." He looked at me bewildered and said, "How do they know?" Yesterday, the navigation officer pointed out 17 whales, 30 dolphins, and some penguins. He's in detox now. Yes, they sent him back to Norway. He's in the Betty Fjord Clinic. I don't care, I love it. Well, our trip is almost over, and last night we put our luggage outside our door. This morning, all the crew had new clothes. Today, a couple had a beautiful ceremony to renew their vows. One of the vows was never to set foot on this ship again. I've got to go now. My stewardess has been knocking on my door for hours. So I'd better get up and let her out. Wish I was with you, your friend Mike Neun. Well, thank you.